So today we're going to make some arancini, but not just any old arancini. We're going to make Sicilian arancini. If you do not know what that is, stay tuned. I am going to show you a couple of different ways on how to make this. But essentially, we're going to have this lovely saffron risotto rice with a nice little ragu filling and a little surprise in the middle. So, all part of our street food series. The dishes continue. Stay tuned for this one. I'm going to show you some beautiful Sicilian arancini. Oh, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like street food and content like this. Right, let's get cooking.
So the first thing we've got to do is make the risotto rice. Now this is real saffron. Add a few pinches to 800 grams of water. Generously season this with salt as well. This is the base for your risotto. You can use a Borio, Carnaroli, whichever type of risotto rice. General rule is twice the volume of water to rice. So 400 grams of rice we're going to use. We need 800 grams of water. Bring that up to the boil. Put in your rice. Give that a little stir and then cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes until all that water has been absorbed. You can just see it looks lovely there. Check a grain too. It shouldn't be chalky when you crush it. Then what we're going to do is off the heat, put in about 4 or 5 tablespoons of good unsalted butter. Mix that through, and then we're going to cool this down quickly. So just spread it out on a sheet like this. Get yourself a nice little spatula, make it nice and flat, and put that in your fridge for later. Now I'll run you through what we're going to need for the filling. This is a lovely grass-fed, grass-finished minced beef, ground beef that is, 500 grams of it. Then we're going to need a heaped tablespoon of tomato paste, some lovely passata, more on that later, a good glug of wine. If it's not good enough to drink, it's not good enough to go in the pot. And then we're going to finally dice up an onion, 2 sticks of celery, and a kind of medium to large carrot. Dice it up as fine as you can. If you don't have these nice skills, you can put it in a food processor and just blitz it all up. But I do encourage you to practice your knife skills. These don't have to be perfect. We're going to kind of finely dice it, roughly chopped, if that makes a bit of sense. We're not going for brunoise. We're just trying to get it as small as we can so it's not too big. And then you're going to get 3 cloves of garlic and crush that in with 2 bay leaves. And that is all your veg prepped. Now let's start sweating that down in a good glug of olive oil in a pan. Get it nice and hot before you add in your sofrito, and then we're just going to sweat that down with a generous seasoning of salt. This really helps the process. This should take about 7 to 10 minutes. You can see it shrunk down quite nicely. Then we're going to put in our beef, press it down like this, add a bit of salt and plenty of pepper, and then we're just going to turn up the heat to about a medium, and we're going to leave it for about 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to start mixing it in just to color up that mince. If you get any big bits, just kind of squish them down. We're not going for meatballs here. We're going for some mince. Deglaze with a generous glug of your white wine. You can see that's pretty much all evaporated after a minute or two. Then add in your tomato puree, mix that through, and then we're going to go in that lovely passata. Probably about 400 mils there, I'd say. Okay, you're going to mix that through. That looks very nice already. Put those bay leaves in, cover that and simmer it for about 40 minutes on low. After 40 minutes, it should be nice and glossy like this. Absolutely delicious. Then we're going to put in about 400 grams of frozen peas for a minute. And that's it. They're going to defrost and it's done. Check your seasoning, put it into a container, set it aside. You can do this the night before. Your filling is pretty much done. I'm also going to add a bit of cheese to the filling. You don't always have to add these to arancini, but I've got a bit of mozzarella kicking around. So I'm just going to dice this up and set that aside. Absolutely delicious. Now, when it comes to making arancini, you can get this lovely little tool with this nice little plunger. Looks like a few other things. Anyway, if you don't have one of these, you can do this by hand. I'll show you how to do it. So wet your hands. Get some of your cooked rice that's nice and chilled. Put it into your hand. Make a little hole there, little divot. Add some of your filling. And then put some cheese, a little as much as you like. Add a bit more rice on top of that. And then just squeeze it together. And what you want to do is squeeze and turn using your hands there to form the shape. You can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of like crafting it into almost like a little bullet. Then I'll just flatten it down on my board, give it a final squeeze, and there we go. Not bad considering I didn't use the machine. But if you want a bit more uniformity, buy one of these. Fill it up, plunge in a nice little hole, fill in your ragu. And what I like to do is just put a bit of cheese in there as well. A little or as much as you like. A little bit more ragu on top. Put in a bit more of that rice over there. Put the lid on. And then use the opposite side as a little tamper, as to kind of like tamp it down, and then it should come out with a nice little vigorous affirmative shake. There we go. Lovely. Not too bad at all. Okay, set that aside. A little pro tip here, you can wet the inside with a bit of water when you're doing too many of these, because obviously the starch will make it stick in a little bit, so that when you give it a shake, it should, there we go, come out quite nicely. Set these all aside on a tray, and there you have your lovely arancini. Now, what are we going to do with it? We're going to bread them, so set yourself up with some flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Now, what you want to do is have one hand that handles the dry stuff and the other with the wet, so you don't mix up your hands. So you go from the flour, shake off the excess, into the egg, into your panko breadcrumbs that have been blitzed, so a bit finer, and give it a generous coating all the way around. And there you have a lovely Sicilian arancini. Repeat the process with the rest until they look like this. Oh yeah. Now, half fill a pot with some oil, maybe a little bit too much in there, but that's okay. And we're just going to fry these about 320, not too aggressive because we don't want them to brown too quick. After a minute or two, they're looking like that, but we want them a bit more golden. We're going to cook these for about 4 to 5 minutes in total, so they look like this, and the cheese is lovely and melted inside when you cut one open. I mean, just look at these. I like to cut it with a serrated first and then switch knives, so I don't rip up the filling too much. And you should have some lovely gooey cheese inside, just like this. Oh yeah, Sicilian arancini, my friends. What a treat. Enjoy.
So there you have it, my friends. Sicilian arancini. These are bad boys. Right, time to try one. Cheers. Seriously tasty. You see that there? I've kept these PG-13 and only put a bit of cheese in them. But if you want to make them R-rated, load them up with a ton of cheese. Nothing wrong with that. I can see why these are super popular as a street food. Perfect. You can just take it with you, bite into it, go for a little walk, have a couple of beers. Life is good. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite street food is, and we will make it in this series. Okay, I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers.